So I love sugar. I love carbohydrates. And a lot of people would say that I am completely addicted to sugar. And I'm going to get health problems soon. It's not that I've recovered from the horrible state I had myself in when I was calorie restricting, when I was fasting, when I was aspiring to be raw and in this perfection mindset, when I was keto, when I was high protein. No. Those times I was healthy, when I was inflamed and overweight and drinking coffee all the time and stressed out and overworking myself and using all kinds of products on my body, perfumes and creams and toners and makeup. All of that stuff that was healthy. But now that I have zero Botox, zero fillers, zero makeup, I don't use any perfume, I use soap and water to clean myself. I take care of my teeth by brushing a half an hour after meals and rinsing with water after meals. And I'm hydrated. I'm drinking 3-4 liters a day. I'm peeing frequently and peeing clear. I'm getting enough sleep and I'm exercising and I'm eating well. I'm eating 3-4 meals a day. I'm eating as much as I want. There's not a day that goes by that I go, I should be going to bed hungry. So this is unhealthy to some people. This is leading me to a brain aneurysm. This is leading me to diabetes. I haven't gained weight. I've actually lost weight and done less exercise than I ever have in my life. But hey, you're gonna gain weight soon. You know, there are so many people right now falling off of the carnivore diet. Michaela Peterson, she loves mangoes, she loves coconut, and her husband was getting her mango ice cream, and she's eating arugula, and she's eating cucumbers, and she's eating carbs, guys, okay? And she said, oh, the carnivore, the lion diet is what healed my autoimmune issues. And I've got Botox and I can't even move my face properly, but I am the epitome of health because my dad is Jordan Peterson and we made up a university and charge people, but it's not even a university and nobody accredits it to be a university, but we charge people for all kinds of courses and stuff and we know exactly what's up. And Kiltz, Dr. Kiltz is another dude who's like been super only the big kings and the ones that run the world eat meat. All the peasants and losers have grains. Even he's like, you know what? I really need to relax on the carnivore diet. I really need to pull back. I'm just gonna squeeze some lemon juice on my steaks. It's like, if you guys believe that these people pushing this garbage are actually following a carnivore keto diet, you have to be a little bit naive, you know? You must love going to a car dealership and getting sold something and then walking out of there and going like, oh my God, that car is bullshit and I have to pay 5% interest every month and this is my monthly payment. Like, you know, you have to kind of shake your head a little bit here. There are so many people selling things. I am not selling you an ebook. I am not selling you anything. I am telling you my experience. I'm trying to spread the message so that more people can crawl out of this hole of bullshit and confusion so that they can get a good grip on how to make their life better. Because if you can make your life better, that means that you can carb up somebody else. That means you can give energy to somebody else. That means that you can do something besides being so self-absorbed and how you can improve everything and lose the weight and be perfect. And what are you going to do when you lose all the weight? What are you going to do when you're happy with exactly everything in your life? This is like some fantasy, okay? Life is about progression. Life is about improving yourself. What did Brad Pitt say in Fight Club? Like self-improvement is a form of masturbation. And it's kind of interesting to think about that, you know? But if you're not doing something to make yourself better for how you function, like, do you like yourself? You know, do you like hanging out with you? Because if you don't like hanging out with you, nobody else is going to like hanging out with you. So if you could just pull back on the things that are drawing you away from this, and pull back from the people that are trying to sell you all kinds of supplements. All of these carnivores and ketos, they have to have electrolytes, guys. If they don't have electrolytes because they're not having any carbs, they're not having calcium and magnesium and potassium from carbohydrates because carbohydrates are the devil. you know? So they gotta just load up on salt. And that's why everyone's so obsessed with salt, is because it's a giant stimulant for them. And if they don't salt that steak, and it still doesn't, it's not having potassium and calcium and magnesium, you know? And they're not eating the bones as all these other carnivores do. And I'm so tired of hearing this, like, everybody ages differently and everyone's genetics are differently. Like, is a lion different from the lion next to him? Do they eat differently? No, they don't. There is a diet for men and women, and we've lost the plot here. And we've fallen very, very far. And we've fallen into this, like, yeah, it's primal and ancestral. Yeah, boom, boom. We got our spears and we're the smartest. We're the smartest. So we can build a tool to kill an animal. That's why we're so smart. It's wild. It's wild out there. There are countless interviews of people that were keto carnivore for 5, 6, 7 years. And they said, you know what? I'm not going to say anything bad about keto carnivore because it healed me. It healed me. But then my hair started to fall out. I actually started to gain weight. My mood was atrocious. I was having thyroid problems and nothing changed until I started having carbohydrates again. But I was so scared about having carbohydrates that I created this invisible fear that doesn't even exist, because the world has programmed me to think that carbohydrates are bad for you, even though everybody that's poor, everybody that's lower than the kings has grains and fruits and vegetables, and they seem to be shredded and happy and thriving, and they're grateful just for the little thing that they have. And then people like to reference the Bible that Jesus ate fish after 3 days, there, and he resurrected, and then he had fish. Yeah, because that's what they offered him. That's what they offered him. If they offered him grapes, if they offered him figs, if they offered him bread, I'm sure he would have been happy with that too. So there's something about, like, taking the offering from people and respecting that. And when you're starving, yeah, that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have whatever's in front of you. So this, like, being starving, and then we're Inuits and the opportunities and the ice age, and I've got nothing else to do, so I'm gonna start eating each other, and then we're just gonna base our diet on this, is a bit silly in my mind. But hey, that's just my opinion. Haters gonna hate, and they're gonna keep coming after me because it never stops. But it is super, super interesting. And I actually love you guys. Thank you to my haters. Love you guys very much. You push the algorithm and you get the message out there. I'm getting new subscribers out of nowhere. I don't know, you guys don't comment, you don't say anything, but I appreciate you guys being here. So in any case, it is attitude of gratitude. The carbohydrates, they give me that. When I was caffeinated, when I was calorie restricting, when I was fasting myself to death, like, I was so self-obsessed and self-absorbed and chasing money and chasing vanity and trying to figure out, like, okay, I have the house, I have the car, I have the this, I have the business, everything is successful, everything is good, and why do I feel like a bag of crap? Like, why can't I be happy? Then I'm just gonna obsess and I'm just gonna fast. Guys, I still am having a hard time trying to find somebody that achieved the physique that I did. And I'm not trying to say this in any other way, as like, I was so sick-minded, okay? I achieved it because I was sick-minded. I didn't achieve it because I was in a happy place. I fasted myself to the bone because I was just trying so hard to escape the life that I had created, but I didn't know how to change, okay? I didn't know how to change, and thank God for Carb King, okay? Messaging me and saying, like, because I didn't even, okay, the amount of time that I spent on YouTube before 2022 was not a lot, okay? Like, I was watching shows, I was like more into that kind of thing. I was reading novels. I was not on YouTube. I never spent time on YouTube. I didn't know anything about the vegan movement on YouTube. I didn't know anything about Durian Rider Freely. I didn't know anything about ex-vegans and people saying like, oh, this, I had no idea about any of this. Really, I didn't. The only time I started to get into this is about a few years ago. So when I say I've watched like 1,000 Durian Rider videos last year, I mean it. That YouTube told me I was in the top like 0.01% or something, like, because I'm binge watching all of these videos from 2014, from 2015 at this time, where I wish I got turned on to it. But Then Carb King told me you need to have some sugar because you are starving. He didn't say it like that, but that's basically what he said. Just try putting a few tablespoons into a lemonade. And it was like my whole world changed in a moment. And people talk about like having this like acid reflux and all this. So I fasted myself to the bone, and I also destroyed and killed my gut microbiome to the point that like when I was having the fruit and when I was being better with the raw vegan, but then I would binge, guys, okay? I would just binge, I would black out and eat whatever was in front of me. And then, and this is why I never lost my period, right? So it was like I was trying to be perfect. It didn't work out. Eat whatever's in front of me. Then I would be good for a few days, and then something would tempt me because I was still starving, because I still wasn't having enough carbohydrates. A couple tablespoons of sugar is not enough, right? But he was smart enough to ease me into it and just kind of say like, okay, just try a little bit, just try a little bit. And then I came here and it was like, that was it, that was it. I never said no to sugar ever again. I was never in fear of carbohydrates ever again. So what I'm trying to say about me not going on YouTube, like I never followed diet trends or whatever. Yes, I did do some keto carnivore. Yes, I did do this, but this was because it was like the gym I was going to and the people around me, and we would share stuff like this. It was always on Instagram. It was always on like social media that I was doing this. It wasn't on YouTube, and I don't have TikTok, and I mean, who goes on Facebook anymore, right? So it was mostly Instagram and messaging people like, what are you eating and this and that. This is how I got into trying to change my diet for the better, because I was too heavy at my 30th birthday. I was way too heavy, and I was swollen, and I was drinking, and I was smoking, and I was this, and I was just beating my body up and hoping something would change without actually changing my lifestyle, and this was very victim mindset. And how could I do better if I didn't have the proper carbs, sleep, hydration, and self-respect to do the exercise, to be mindful, to take care of yourself. Because like I said, I'm going to say it again, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So yes, I am totally and absolutely addicted to sugar, because it gives me the power to do what I need to do in my day and be aware and be open to whatever else is in front of me, whoever else that walks into my life in that moment, in that day. I would be very ill-equipped to run my life if I quit carbohydrates. And everybody that does quit carbohydrates eventually hits the wall. Eventually hits that wall, even though they're so like, I want to follow it's been 15 months on the carnivore diet, and I'm still not losing weight, and there's plaque building up in my arteries, but it's going to get better one day, because they're so wrapped up into like the religion of diet, right? And then the omnivores are going to come in here and say, oh, well, I do the repeat diet, and I have milk, and I have orange juice, and I have a little bit of fish, and I have a little bit of chicken, and I have my potatoes, and I have my rice, and everything's fine. That's cool. And you have your olive oil and your whatever. It's your choice. I know that I perform better. I can feel it now. If I go out to eat, I had some Thai food again the other day. If I go out to eat, I can feel it. Your body responds to these things. Like, it's like, yeah, that's a little bit too fatty. And like, there's nothing wrong with fat. There's fat in oranges, okay? Every single food that is whole has protein, has fat, has carbohydrates within it. So people look at a potato and they say, oh, it's a carb. It's like, there's vitamin C in there, there's protein in there, there's fat in there, and there's carbohydrates. Oh no, oh no. So we've really got a strange way of labeling things and categorizing things, and it's very stigmatized that like carbs are the enemy, and only if you're a runner or you're a marathoner or you're a cyclist or if you work out a lot do you need carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are the reward. I remember hearing Gabrielle Leon say like, how many carbs do you have in a day? Did you earn those carbs? And it's like, ugh, like, what do you mean? Like, you require carbs to sleep, guys. You burn a few hundred calories at the gym. You burn way more calories just living. So Carbohydrates are for the marathon of your life. Carbohydrates are for the endurance of your life. If you don't want to feel like shit, and if you don't want to have to rely on something else to get you going, if you don't want to have to go like, oh, I wish I could have that piece of chocolate, and oh, I wish I could have that little piece of cake, you need more carbs. There was a comment that I got the other day that said, like, I thought sugar was addictive until I started eating the sugar diet. And then I was like, you know what? Ugh, I've had enough sugar. I just want some rice with a little bit of soy sauce. There you go. There you go, guys. There you go. There's a point where you're like, that's enough sweet for me. I want some savory. And then we're going to get the, oh, don't be cooking your food. Don't be cooking your food, because that's really bad on your intestines, and it's really bad on your colon. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? So I'm very thankful that I never got up into the diet culture, I guess up until now or something in the last few years, where I've been watching a lot of videos on this and being like under a rock, I guess, on the YouTube diet trends and the YouTube lifestyle trends and the vlogging and the this and the that. Like, you know, in some ways I kind of wish I had a channel a long time ago, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to spread this message, and I wasn't even carbed up enough to do it. I didn't have the confidence to do it. The carbs give you confidence, guys. The carbs give you that swagger where you just feel like, yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm gonna go do something with myself instead of complaining about it. Now, I guess women can be more emotional about this. I think men respond a little better to this kind of talk. But you know what? I wish that the people close to me years ago said, like, Lauren, you're really not doing your best. You could be doing a lot better, you know? But it was just like, oh, you're making money, and oh, you have this house, and you have this car, and you have all these possessions, and you're just doing what, you know, all the boomers said that you should do, and blah blah blah, and everything's working out. It's a different world, man. It's a totally different world, and having some kind of sovereignty over your life is far more important than going to work for Big Daddy corporate or whatever. And I owned my own business, so I worked for myself too, but still I was at mercy to the suppliers, and I was at mercy to the customers, and I had to kiss ass, and I had to compete with people that were 50 years in business and stuff. And like, you know, my business partner is still running the business, and he wouldn't be running it if he wasn't making money. So it's a successful business, but I just left because it was enough for me. I did what I had to do there, and we shook hands, and I said, have a great time, you know? Like, you do you. It's just like, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do the whole slave thing and just like relying on other people. And like, we all do rely on other people in some certain sense. Like, I rely on the grocery store being open so that I can go get food, right? I don't run it. I don't do the bills. I don't do the accounting for it, but community does matter. But in a sense of like, I never wanted to work for somebody, right? Like, I had 3 jobs at one time when I was younger, and it was just, I don't know. I wanted to be like an underwater welder at one point. Like, I don't, because all I knew is that they didn't work for 6 months out of the year. So that's what I wanted. I just didn't want to work. I didn't want to work. I wanted to be able to have fun and do whatever I wanted with my life, but I didn't even have the carbs to do it. So I dwindled and dwindled and dwindled over time. My activity level just went down and down and down, and my will to live went down and down and down. And then I fasted myself to nothing, and I was just so obsessed with that community. And I would say that, like, when I do look back on these people's profiles and stuff, a lot of them still fast. All of these raw fruitarians, they like still fast. Not all of them, okay? Not every raw fruitarian fasts, but a lot of them do, and they do promote it, and they do say like it's still very cleansing for the body and blah blah blah. And it's like, how long do you have to detox? You know, I would rather transition. I would rather be like, you know what, I'm having my cooked food. I don't think Arnold Ehret would look at me and be like, oh, it's bad. I'm not having the fat that he would recommend to get the salads down. I'm not doing the olive oil. I'm not drizzling it on everything. I'm having my rice. I'm having my potatoes. I'm having my pasta. I'm having the bread while I'm here. You know, I don't really love the bread in North America. I think there's a big problem there. But if you make your own bread and la-di-da, good for you. The oats are good, but it's just like you got to add the sugar to it. You got to add the fruit to it. The oats can be very fatty if you have a lot of them. So just be careful if you're on this weight loss thing. And eat enough. A lot of these people just do not eat enough. And I've been there. So I know what it's like to not eat enough. And I know how you feel. And I know how that food obsession comes in. And I know how the binge comes in. So when I hear people say that they've been carnivore for 10 years, it's like, you are a big fat liar, okay? Or, I am carnivore, but I have honey and I'm more like Paul Saladino. I'm on like an animal-based diet. Which is great, because you're still having carbohydrates, you know, like he's having sourdough bread or whatever. Like, that's cool. But he still makes money off of his carnivore book. So yeah, and he's definitely on a little something, but that's just neither here nor there. And all of these carnivores just magically grow back their hairlines. It's just like, there is so much out there. So many people lying to you all the time. So people might say that I'm a liar, you know, I'm a liar and I don't actually have that much sugar. I actually don't have that much carbohydrates and I secretly eat meat in the dark. And it's just like, that's a projection, you know. A lot of these comments about like, you're emotional and yeah, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you're leaving an emotional comment. Like, what are we talking about here, guys? You know? It's people project their own fears onto you. It's like a classic example of like, you're in a relationship with somebody and they're like, you're cheating on me. 10 out of 10, they're the ones that are cheating on you, you know, because they can't like their psyche can't even hold that in. So when people come at you with these insults and these comments and these, you're doing it wrong, is because they did it wrong. And like, hey, like the hand is still here. Come here, guys. It's okay. Have some carbs. It's going to be okay. So I'm addicted to carbohydrates. I got no shame, guys. I got no shame in being addicted to breath. It's like, I got no shame being addicted to getting a good night's sleep. I got no shame in this. I'm so happy to be where I am today. And I thank God every day that I'm here and able to spread the message and able to talk to everybody here. So, yeah. If you've got issues, if you've got problems, it's because of what you did before you ended up here. And I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. I went through it. I rebounded. I gained a lot of weight eating this way, and I could have went like, oh my gosh. But did you see what I looked like before? I was 114 pounds. That's what I weighed when I was like 12, okay? It is so unhealthy for a woman who is 5'8". It's just not it, guys. I was starved. And one thing that probably also kind of kept me alive was drinking water. I drank about 4 liters a day still. And it was distilled water. Right now I'm not drinking distilled water, but hopefully I can find some in the next place that I go. So I still will say, you still just need to drink water. Doesn't matter if it's reverse osmosis or whatever, you need water, you know? You need water no matter what. So make sure you're getting some sort of clean filtered water in the best way that you know how. But ideally I would have distilled water coming through the tap. So even though I was fasting and all that, even though my organs were completely dehydrated, my liver was probably 50% capacity. My glycogen was completely gone out of my muscles. Carbohydrate, you have 3 molecules of water or 1 of glucose, whatever. This is, you need to have some fullness to yourself. You need to have some sort of glow, or else you are undercarbed and you are dehydrated and you are underslept and you don't have enough sort of movement or exercise in your life. If you walk for 20 minutes a day, that is the best. And then the next day you walk for 21 minutes. It's consistency, guys. The only reason that anybody has cardio is because they do it. And they make a priority of it in their week. They don't go hard every single day, but they do it 5-6 times a week. And rest days are very important, but it's prioritizing some kind of movement. The lymphatic system only works when you move, right? The lymphatic system is very tied to weight loss and weight gain. So, and it's a fluid. So let's just end it there. I think that's enough. But thank you guys all for being here, and have your carbs, have your sugar, because your quality of life will decrease without it. you will put yourself through hell and then end up going back to the carbohydrates anyway. So have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.
But after 6 years of being extremely low carb, my thyroid started to tank, my hormones started to crash, my performance in the gym was terrible, I was losing my hair, I was gaining weight, could not get the weight off for the life of me, and I knew I needed to make some changes, but I was also very scared to make those changes because I had created some fears around reintroducing whole food carbs because I didn't want to go back to where I was. So I had to do a lot of work mentally and emotionally to get to a place where I was feeling stable enough mentally and emotionally to bring them back in. So it was a very slow reintroduction. But I have found such a deeper sense of freedom. My weight is finally coming off. Performance in the gym is the best it has been in over 6 years. My hair is coming in again. Hormones are improving. I think my next goal is to eventually get off of my thyroid medications.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a big house on it.